Hi guys, welcome back. My setup obviously is very different. My boyfriend and I moved. We are now living with two of his best friends, and we've got our cat who is in the crate because he's still getting used to the place, and our Pitbull puppy who is laying in front of the door waiting on my boyfriend to get home because he should be home here before long. Hopefully I can get this video done. But I wanted to talk about the good and the bad of 2020. So my year thankfully was not filled with as much sorrow as a lot of you guys, and I'm not sure anybody who watches my videos has lost someone due to COVID-19. And if you have, or if you've lost someone in general, my heart really goes out to you. When my boyfriend and I were at a family party, it was a small party on his side of the family. One of his aunts was talking about how a neighbor or a family friend, I'm not sure which, actually lost their son in a fire on Christmas Day. So if I'm getting choked up, shit. If you are somebody who has unfortunately lost someone, my heart goes out to you. And I know it's not going to be easy, but I hope my videos in some way, shape, or form, you can come to my videos or you can come to my TikTok and they make you laugh, they make you smile, maybe even make you cry a little. But hopefully they're good tears. But I hope you have a better year. So for the most part, the beginning of 2020 wasn't that bad. My boyfriend and I were moving into a house with his best friend and his dog, and I thought I was going to be able to get along with that best friend, but he was just so picky about everything. Like, he didn't like the fact that our cat was in our room all the time because he wasn't used to the house, and he didn't like my parents being around a lot. So my parents for this house don't come around because I told them, like, oh, his roommate wasn't very comfortable, or our roommate wasn't very comfortable with it. And overall, we just didn't mesh in that house. This house is very different. The guys are a lot more laid back. We don't really have to worry about stepping on anyone's toes. We're actually right behind one of the roommates' parents. So the parents are usually over here, and they take care of our roommate's dog. Our roommate's dog is a husky Dalmatian mix, and he is a big handful. He's not even sure he's actually going to be able to keep him. He's probably going to have to rehome him just because he doesn't have the time of day to work on it, and work with him because he's still a pup. He's about the same age as Maestro right now. But that's his prerogative, and if he thinks that's the best for his pet, then he can do what he thinks is best. He doesn't abuse the dog. He doesn't do anything bad. He's difficult to train because he's stubborn, but shit happens. But fast forward to April of 2020, we got Maestro. Maestro! Maestro! Come here, baby! Come here! Come here! Come here! Come here! Hey! Come here! I can't move my camera. I got it in the perfect spot. Maestro! Come here! Come to mama! Come to mama! Come here! Come on! Up, up! Up, up! Hey, come on! Come on! Come on! Oh, hold on. Let me pick him up. This is Maestro. Hi, baby. Oh, big yawn. Oh, hello. Hello. Here. You want it? Go get it. It's on the bed. Go get it. It's on the bed. He's cleaning himself. We got Maestro. Maestro's the bestest boy. And I dropped something. Hold on. Oh. He was tangled up in my yarn. We got Maestro. We got him at 4 weeks. And the reason we got him so young was because his biological mom, because I'm mom, his birth mom didn't produce enough milk to take care of her litter. So we actually got him super young, and we got him from somebody that was just selling pit bulls on Craigslist. We had been waiting for several months to go through the adoption process at a shelter, and especially for Pitties, it's very strenuous and very long, and we were just getting a little run down and a little disheartened, just because they were like, oh, you're so young, you're not going to be able to take care of a pit bull. He's a healthy boy. Whenever we take him to the vet, they have no qualms. He loves the vet. I've never seen a dog so happy when it comes to going to the vet. He gets so excited to see the girls there. And we had to take Leslie a little while ago. I told you guys about it. Leslie had health issues. For those of you who are new, Leslie is my cat. He was just a little stray Tom that my parents took in and then they gave him to me. But Leslie, like I said, is in the crate. He's used to the house, but he was fighting real bad with Maestro, and we don't want Maestro to get hurt or get aggravated and accidentally snap and hurt Leslie, because Maestro's quite a bit bigger than the last time we saw Leslie. So Leslie's in the crate. He's got a bed. He's got his food, water, and litter box. I thought I heard something. Sorry. He's good. He's chilling. Hold on. It must have just been the neighbor's dog. Leslie's okay. We're all squared out with him. Maestro's rubbing on the carpet. April wasn't that bad. And then come June, my boyfriend and I we just kept arguing. We weren't in a very good headspace, and I don't know if it was just because we were under stress because his friend would bitch at him for stuff that I was doing, or if I have a tendency to let people talk in my ear. So I had one of my ex-friends that was always trying to tell me that he was doing something when he wasn't. And I know, like I've said before, like he promised that he was going to do something for another girl, and I should have talked to him about it, and the breakup was my fault and his fault. We've both taken accountability for it. He stood with his friends over me. I stood with my friend over him. And overall, that friendship was very toxic. She would only talk to me whenever she wanted me. So I was never a priority. And he and I broke up in June, and I was fucking devastated. And I'm still a little scared because I know my attitude tends to be a little brash. I have a tendency to hold everything in. So I'm trying to work on that the best I can. He knows, give me a couple of minutes to assess my thoughts and everything, and then I'm able to tell him what's wrong. So our patience with each other has grown, and I'm really thankful for that. And my best friend's birthday was in June. She turned 21, and we didn't go and drink or anything. She doesn't want to drink, and due to COVID, we weren't going to be able to do anything anyway, so she had a small party. And that was at the beginning of June. My boyfriend and I broke up at the end. And Chelsea, I know you watch my videos. And I'm really thankful for you. Because if it wasn't for you talking to me and making sure I was okay and trying to make me feel better, I don't know what would have happened. But thank you for being there for me when I needed you. I just kept getting told by my family that, crying over a guy wasn't worth it. I'm like, I spent 8 years with this man. I thought we were going to get married, and it didn't work out that way at first. And it just, it all went downhill for a moment. But in my opinion, I hit rock bottom. I had to move back in with my parents, and I hated it because I did not get along with my mom. I still don't really get along with my mom. I got my first job, and it was just at our little rinky-dink gas station, and I didn't have very much training. I didn't have very good training either, and because everyone was telling me different things, I didn't have enough time to get adjusted to everything, and then they kind of just threw me on a register and said, fuck it. Well, one day, because it was in the middle of summer, and I had to work on the 4th of July, and it got stupid fucking hot. Like, our coolers and everything were starting to quit. So I actually, I almost had, I have real bad dizzy spells when I'm under a lot of stress or whenever I am overheated or anything like that. So I actually almost had a bad spell, and I talked to my parents, and they were like, okay, I don't think it's safe for you to work there anymore. It's too much stress. You obviously cannot physically handle the stress or the heat of working in a normal job, and you don't have a college degree or anything, so it's not like you're going to be able to get an office job. So why don't you stick to doing everything online? So I've been doing more stuff online. I actually gained a fair amount of following on my YouTube and my TikTok. My most viewed video is still my fucking breakup video, which sucks. But I gained a lot of followers. I currently have 9 on my YouTube channel, but I have 200 some on my TikTok, and I'm proud of that. Like, I created a couple, I have a couple, but I haven't, like, actually written them down yet. And I'm sorry I keep touching my face. Just, I had mascara on, I was pricking with makeup, and then I took it off, and, I think some of it got in my tear duct. But, I created a couple of characters that I'm wanting to portray. More of those are gonna come. If you are from my TikTok, more of those are gonna come, I promise. It's just with the move and then the holidays, it just, everything ran in together. But I gained a fair following on there, and my birthday came around in August, and my best friend came over. We watched some movies, we watched Hamilton, and I had a big bonfire where I started burning old pictures of my boyfriend and I. So I think that kind of helped, because a lot of like stuff that I not held against him, but I was anxious about, was the fact that I kept a couple friends from high school, and they knew the situation in high school. Like, we were on again, off again, and it was more or less just like people always in my ear. It was hardly ever me actually making an informed decision for myself. It was always me trying to please my friends and not please myself. So when I took out those toxic friends who were like, oh, it's me or the guy, when the guy, he has problems, but it wasn't like, he wasn't physically abusive, he wasn't mentally abusive. Nothing he's ever said or done has ever been like, you either do this or I'm gone. You either you stop with this friend, or you stop seeing your parents or anything like that. It's never been that. Like, I'm a sister-in-law now. I mean, I've been a sister-in-law because my sister's married, but she and I aren't we don't have a sisterly bond. So my brother that I don't get along with got married, and he got married back in February, and she has a 2-year-old son, and August is also his birthday as well as my brother's, and we got along. I have my sister-in-law, and my sister-in-law gave me a big hug while we were having to move all my shit out of my boyfriend's friend's house. And she's like, you know what? You're 20. You really care for this guy. He hasn't done anything physical to you. He hasn't done anything mental to you. I think that you guys are going to be okay. And lo and behold, come September, we got back together. He was reeling because he thought that the breakup was going to be easier said than done, and he thought it was going to be less stress, when in reality it was just an absolute nightmare for both of us. Again, if I hadn't had my best friend, and my best friend has never been the kind of person who's like, oh, I don't like this person, you can't hang out with them. I tend to get that way, and it's more or less like I can see like the way they treat my friends is a little toxic, and then I didn't see it with myself. Like, my ex-friend went out on a date with this guy, and he kept commenting on her weight because she's a curvy girl. She's a plus-size girl, and she's beautiful. That doesn't take away from her beauty. She's just a figured girl. And he kept making so many comments about her weight, about her figure, about all this other kind of bullshit that he didn't need to be saying. And I'm like, honey, you don't need to be dating him. Like, that doesn't sound right. Kept trying to push her to do things that she didn't want to do. She didn't want to have sex with him. She kept pushing, all this kind of shit. So, I told her, just keep your location on, because I wouldn't have been able to get in contact with her, but our other friend would have been able to. And he got pissed. I'm like, drop him. Finally, after a couple months, she did. Now, she tried to say that my boyfriend did that kind of shit. Honey, no the fuck he didn't. I went Black Friday shopping with her last year, and he offered to give me his credit card with like a several $100 limit on it to be able to get Christmas for all my friends and my family, which he didn't have to do. I was content on just making everyone cookies. They would bitch about it. Fuck it. If you don't like him, you don't like him. Doesn't matter to me. In my opinion, the way to someone's heart is through their stomach, like my dad. So I made my dad peanut butter cookies, and my dad was happy as hell. But it just wasn't a good friend. But my boyfriend and I did get back together, and it was a rocky start. It's still a little rough, and it's not anything like he's holding the breakup over my head, and I'm not trying to hold the breakup over his. I worry sometimes that I am, because he was the one that initiated the breakup. He's like, we've been doing nothing but arguing. I think we just need to end this relationship before we hate each other, which I respected because I never wanted to hate him. And I've said it several times that I hated him, that I told my family that there were moments where I wanted to hit him with a car. But you could see it on my face. It never reached. Like, if you know me and I say I hate somebody, there are moments where you can tell that I really hate someone. Like, my mom's ex-husband, I fucking hate him. When it comes to hating stuff that somebody else has done, like, my boyfriend will tease with me, and I'll be like, oh, I hate you, and I'll say it with a smile on my face. Whenever we broke up, and I told my best friend, I'm like, I hate him. And she's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. I can see it in your eyes. And even he was like, I'm surprised you don't hate me. How do you not hate me? Even now, he's like, I would have been so mad. And I told him, I'm like, yeah, I was mad. I wanted to break your $300 TV. I wanted to fuck up the house. I wanted to break everything that you owned. But it wouldn't have helped. If I had done that, you and I wouldn't be together again. And I really thought we weren't going to get together again. And I was terrified. And when we got back together, I just kept thinking, this has to be a dream. I'm going to wake up and he's not going to be here. And I felt really awful because I was talking to this guy in another state, and we were just talking. There was never any set relationship or anything like that, but we had called a couple times. He was going to come here to Ohio to visit me for Christmas and my birthday and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, I wasn't comfortable with it to begin with, because while I had video conversations with the guy and he had shown his face and everything, this was still a stranger. I wasn't comfortable, but he did act a little different, but at the same time, I'm like, this isn't mine. This isn't my boy. And I know it's gonna take a minute, but, like, it didn't feel right. I wasn't myself. And when I'm with Dawson, my boyfriend, I I'm happy. I'm confident. I have an appetite. That's why I got the double chin. That's why I went up a pant size. Because for the longest time, I wasn't able to, like, finish a plate of food. So when my boyfriend and I broke up, when Dawson and I broke up, I dropped weight. And I hadn't had a dizzy spell in almost 4 years. And then when we broke up and I got that job and I almost had a dizzy spell, if I had, I would have hit that concrete and there was a chance I could have died. And it was just... But September came around, we got back together, and we moved in. Yesterday was his birthday. We moved in a couple days before Christmas, so it was like the 20th, 21st maybe. We had already moved in, and he was still getting packages sent to his old address in the other city. So he was like, "Hey, we gotta go and get this stuff, and we'll get some small groceries, like a couple cases of pop to keep in the bedroom, because it's a 2-level house. And we'll get our own stuff. We'll keep it in the bedroom, and I got some packages I gotta pick up, but while they're for you, I don't want you to open them yet until we get to the house." I'm like, "Okay, I respect that. That's weird, but okay." And we got here, and there was a couple of packages, so he's like, "Okay, now it's time to open them up." We had gotten food and everything, and we came home. And I opened one package, and it was a lingerie set. He especially makes me feel a lot more confident in my body. He's been buying sets for me. He's been buying clothes that makes me feel confident and comfortable, and I have an OnlyFans, so I've been taking some pictures, and I gained a little bit of money. I had like $25 and it got sent in my card, and I spent it already. I got makeup. I was gonna get like lingerie or maybe even some or something, but I didn't feel like doing it, so I didn't. But he surprised me with the set, and it's really pretty. Then he got me a couple of choker necklaces, and one of them I like, one of them I really don't, because it's like real thick. It's like a thing, but not really my style. But it was Christmas Eve. Yeah, it was Christmas Eve, and he was opening one package while I decided I was going to try on the lingerie, and he pulled out a ring. Now, this is definitely a lot different if you remember my breakup video from my last engagement ring. My last engagement ring was gold. It was a marquee diamond, marquee cut, and I think it was a marquee. And it was really pretty, but it tarnished so quickly because it was gold plated. And my mom just bitched, and complained about it. She's like, "Oh, it's tarnished. He needs to get you a new one. He needs to get you a new one." Well, Mom, I got a new one. It took me a minute, but I got a new one. And I'm not taking it completely off, but it's like, so focus on the ring and not on me. Focus on the ring, and there we go. It's just black, and it's got the knot and the red stones, and it's like a couple's ring set, so he has one that matches. And I didn't really react when he did it, and it wasn't like this huge extravagant thing, and that's not really what I wanted. It's not really what I needed. He proposed the first time in a classroom full of all our peers, and he proposed with that right here. He just leaned down, and he's like, "So, will you marry me?" And of course I said yes, because he's my person. I can't live without him. I mean, obviously you can live without a lot of people, but it's just like something's missing. And it was him. And I know there were some people who were like, "Oh, you changed your whole personality to fit his." I didn't change. You can ask anybody who's known me. I did not change. If anything, I got more confident. My confidence has skyrocketed since I've been with him, especially since I've been back with him. Like, I gained a little bit of weight, I'm not gonna lie. I have a little bit of a tummy, there's a little bit of flab. I went up a pant size, my thighs are real thick and everything, but you know what? I'm happy. Like, I'm happy. And I'm hopefully gonna figure out a way to keep my weight this steady, and I'm gonna continue to do my thing on TikTok, do my thing on here, and do my thing on fucking OnlyFans. And if anyone has a problem with it, then they don't have to be here. But I do think it's kind of funny because one of his, sorry, a ladybug flew on me because this house was filled with ladybugs. It's kind of funny. It's kind of awkward though too because one of his friends that he doesn't really get along with anymore is subscribed to my OnlyFans. How's my tits look, Hunter? You owe me money. Or, better yet, why don't I tell your wife and everything, considering that she gives you an allowance? I found that out the other night. Oh my god. It's weird, it's creepy. His friends that we live with don't know I have one, which they're not the kind of people who would judge. I do really feel bad because it was my idea to move in with his other friend, and then we didn't get along with him. We were originally supposed to move in here to begin with, but it would have taken until now to be able to move in. And I said it would have been easier to go up there because his work was in another city, and it just would have been easier on him. Yeah, his friend didn't think that. But his friend was so anal about everything. Like, everything had to be a certain way. After a couple of weeks, he would change something. The man would buy, like, a whole new bed set or a whole new dresser every other week. He always had a package come to the house. And it got so frustrating because Dawson was paying the majority of the bills, even with me there. And when I left, when I had to leave, like, he was still paying the majority of the bills. Like, there was no reason that he had to pay almost $600 when the guy that was living and letting us live there wasn't paying, like, maybe $160, maybe $200 at the most. Oh, it got so fucking aggravating. And even Dawson was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna talk to the friends that we're living with now, I don't want to say their names, and you know, we'll figure everything out there. But it took a little bit of convincing because he was nervous, but thankfully things worked out. So hopefully this works out. I've been looking at wedding bands for us to get, probably either a black one for him and a silver one for me, maybe a gold one, I don't know. And I've already got my maid of honor. It's gonna be my best friend Chelsea. I'm debating on whether or not to have my sister-in-law be in my wedding, because from where I don't get along with my brother, but I really want my nephew to be there. That was another thing that happened with 2020. I embraced being an aunt. So I got a pool over summer. It was a small pool with a UV canopy over it that was supposed to protect real little kids from getting sunburnt because we were going to put up the big pool. We had the big pool put up at the other house, then the breakup happened and yada, yada, yada. So I purchased with my paycheck, my first paycheck and my last, I purchased a pool with that cover, and my nephew absolutely loved it. So he and I were playing in the pool, and this boy, he's only 2, and whenever he would dunk himself, because it was a little deep pool, it was about that deep, maybe? It was enough that in like a 90-some degree heat, almost 100, it would cool you down. But we were gonna have it for my birthday. Weather didn't permit, so my nephew and I played in it, and my mom. And my nephew absolutely loved it. But when he dunked himself in the water and brought himself back up, he was like, "Can I just have a towel?" I'm like, "You are a trooper." I would have been bawling my eyes out. But I really embraced becoming an aunt. I made him a blanket for Christmas. I made something for my sister-in-law. I made her an earmuff cover. And overall, he especially just gets really excited whenever I'm around. He's like, "Oh, it's Aunt Sarah." He did get a little disappointed here. I think it was in October. It was before Halloween. he came down to the house to play for a little bit. And it was a cool day. We were able to sit outside, and my grandparents, his great-grandparents were there, and then my parents and my sister-in-law and his dad, and Dawson was coming to pick me up. So I had went inside and switched out shirts and everything and got ready to go spend the weekend with him. And my nephew was coming up to me. He's like, "Where are you going? Aunt Sarah, where you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going with Uncle Dawson." And he knew Dawson. When I was processing the breakup and everything about mid-July, we had a military ball picture that sat in the living room. And he picked it up. And he was pointing at everyone. He's like, "Aunt Sarah, Uncle Dawson." And he kissed Uncle Dawson's picture. And I about lost it. Oh my God, this child. Ugh. 2020 has been a roller coaster of a year. And thankfully, my year wasn't as bad as it could have been. And I'm really grateful for that. My grandfather here, either the 1st or the 3rd, I feel so awful. I can't remember. I gotta text my mom. We're having a surprise party for my grandfather. My granddad is going to be 80 years old in 2021. And it's kind of scary to think about, because while the man gets on my damn nerves, because he's one of those old people that like to pick, like most grandfathers are, and he has a tendency to pick. He'll pinch, he'll poke, and all that kind of shit, and don't like it. We've told him he doesn't care. He's 79. He's gonna do what he wants to do, but every time I get a little frustrated with him, my mom always shoots back in my face. She's like, "You are acting like an awful granddaughter. This could very well be his last Christmas, and do you really want the last memory that you have of him being a fight?" I'm like, "I'm not trying to fight, and I wasn't raising my voice. I'm just saying, it's 30-some degrees outside. He doesn't need to be outside shoveling snow." And he wouldn't let me help. He wouldn't let my dad help. He just was doing it on his own. I'm like, "Okay, I gotta let you do you. I just hope you're okay." And I told my mom, and it's her father, and she's like, "You are acting like an awful granddaughter. Keep in mind, I'm the only granddaughter." So when she was saying that, I'm like, he's a frustrating man. He knows it. We know it. So I am really close with him, or I was really close with him, especially when I was a kid. You could always see me sitting on his lap eating a bowl of popcorn, and I got to thinking about it. I'm like, God, it's gonna hurt like a bitch when we lose him, and that could come at any moment. So when I gave him his Christmas present, which was a batch of his favorite cookies, because if you want to make my grandfather's day, you make him ginger anything or raisin anything, and he absolutely loves them. So I made him chewy ginger cookies because he has dentures. We used to get him a bag of ginger snaps, a new hat, coffee cup, and coffee for his birthday and for Christmas.